Alright everyone, what's going on? It's Def here, and this is going to be more commentary because I'm reviewing slash watching the Sparking Zero final preview, so I'm assuming this is going to be some gameplay on the game, like literally a couple weeks before it comes out, so let's check it out. I mean,
The Dragon Ball Tenkaichi series is one that meant a lot to me
this game just looks awesome. I never played the originals, but I'm so glad to be able to play this one because, it just looks amazing.
as a teenager and young adult, which was about the peak of my obsession with Dragon Ball Z. But it's also one that I haven't really thought about or touched in the last 15 or so years. Fast forward to the present, and after about 3 hours of hands-on time with Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, it felt like I was hit with a spirit bomb of nostalgia as I once again got.
This game just looks so amazing with like all the particle effects, the visuals, the attacks. Like, dude, they went above and beyond with this game, and honestly, I couldn't have hoped for better. And then after this, we have the Bleach game coming out. Like, oh, dude, it's an amazing year for anime games, definitely.
Back in
And just anime fans in general.
there, chaining together rapid movement teleports, bouncing my foes like ping pong balls between multiple vanishing attacks, and kicking them away with so much force that they destroy mountains. It was like reuniting with a dear old friend. And yet, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero feels like much more than just a nostalgia play. It's packed with new mechanics, a brand new approach to story mode, and a host of other exciting features that I only.
That whole thing with the story mode where you can just like choose different outcomes is actually so cool, because it's basically every what if scenario people have had, and they're doing like kind of small versions of that, but still crazy. And you get to play as like a bunch of different characters for the story, like Frieza, Jiren, Goku Black. I mean, like, what?
Only got a taste of, but I'm excited to dig more into it once it comes out next month.
Hey, I want to play some more!
Fusions look
The
absolutely
first 2 hours
awesome.
of my hands-on time was spent on free play. I used a large
Oh my
chunk
God,
of this
look at
time to
Gohan, he
refamiliarize
looks so
myself with the
cool.
Tenkaichi style of gameplay by hitting up Sparking Zero's exhaustive tutorial mode, which covers all the many
Get ready for a bunch of videos on this game, whether it's like all the different ultimates, like whatever. This game is gonna go crazy good.
different mechanics present here. There are vanishing assaults, vanishing attacks, lightning attacks,
Not done yet.
burst smashes, dragon smashes, high guards, low guards, high speed evasion counters, perception counters, super counters, Z counters, and so on. It's a lot to take in for sure.
This game has an incredible amount of depth with like its combat system. I mean, dude, like, are we in like anime heaven right now? This is the time right now. This is the time to be a gamer or just an anime enjoyer in general, because this is amazing.
But it all serves to enhance the depth of the combat and, most
I just realized the quality of this video. Oh, that's
importantly, deliver on the power trip
Oh,
of
look at
controlling
Ultra
some of the most
Instinct.
powerful
Looks so
characters throughout
good.
all of anime. Sure, I might not need to know how to knock an enemy away, vanish behind them, drill them into the ground, and then pick them up, swing them around, and hurl them away like a ragdoll. There are other simpler ways to get just as much damage, if not more,
Dude,
but
it's
doing
like-
stuff like that
They got the whole, like, because the way the visuals look reminds me of how they did it in Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, which honestly, I kind of want to replay through Kakarot, like, before this game comes out. Although I don't know if I'll be able to, because I have a bunch of series going on, like Lollipop Chainsaw, doing commentary videos like these. I want to do a Let's Play on Funko Fusion, Disney Epic Mickey, and like 1 or 2 videos on Wild Bastards, which is like a Western roguelike that has really cool cartoon art style.
feels so incredibly cool.
But at least a
and to
little bit of
me,
Sparking
that's what the
Zero.
Tenkaichi
Or not
series
Sparking
is all
Zero,
about.
Kakarot.
Sorry. Nope. Lazy fool.
Once I was back up to speed on the combat and mechanics, I decided to check out one of Sparking Zero's big new modes outside of its story mode, Custom Battles. It lets you create,
Oh yeah, that custom battles. That's another thing. The custom battles lets you do your own what ifs, and other players can like post their custom battles so people can play them. This is going to give the game so much like longevity, and like it's gonna keep like getting people to come back to it. And there's 182 different characters. Now, a bunch of those characters are just like forms, but still, that's a crazy amount. And we're also getting the Dragon Ball Daima Goku as a pre-order bonus. Like, we're already getting Daima characters in Dragon Ball games. That's actually wild.
Share and play out your own fantasy Dragon Ball fight scenarios, complete with options to create an intro cutscene, a title card, mid-match triggers, and outro cutscenes that cover what happens when you win
I am more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
and when you lose.
You knew you would lose, yet you still defied me.
There's even a Mario Maker style rule to it, where in order to share your custom battle with other players, you need to be able to prove that it's possible by beating it yourself. Unfortunately, I didn't have the time to craft my own battle to the degree that I would have wanted, so I opted instead to see what the mode was capable of by trying out some of the pre-made battles that were prepped by the developers. And to my delight, they were a lot of fun, with a great variety of different types of fights. Some were simply based around the idea of pitting certain characters against each other, like a battle of speed demons that had you controlling Birder as you faced off against Kakunsa and Hit. Another had you as Kid Goku going up against Master Roshi to relive one of their training sessions, and forcing you to win the fight specifically with whatever move Roshi calls out.
Dude, this
My
looks
favorite
so
though had me playing
good.
as a weak and underpowered Captain Ginyu.
I'm gonna keep pausing this for this. This looks so good. We are like less than 3 weeks away, something like that, from the game coming out. I already have the Ultimate Edition pre-ordered, so I'm definitely gonna be posting that when it comes out. Early access. Hopefully I'll be able to like record and edit and post the video the moment it drops to like mess around with the story. Cause the amount of content and live streaming I want to do with this game is so crazy. Oh my god, this game.
Against an appropriately overpowered Frieza. My only hope for victory was using Ginyu's ultimate technique, the body change beam, to swap bodies with Frieza and then easily finish the fight. Easier said than done, as whenever I tried to power up to be able to use the move, Frieza would hit me with an instant kill death beam. So I had to engage Frieza in combat just enough to be able to charge my meter, knock him away, and then use that time to charge up into sparking mode so that I could look for an opening to land the attack. It was a surprisingly tense and refreshingly unique battle, and a great showing of the potential that this mode has as a sandbox for creative players to come up with and share exciting fights that go far beyond the limits of Dragon Ball's canon.
Is that all?
Like you can make this literally lore accurate to how it happened in the show or the manga. I mean, this game, I am lost for words. This game's amazing.
After the time for free play was up, I got a chance to check out a handful of episode battles,
The
which
story
collectively
mode.
make up Sparking Zero's story mode. Dragon Ball's story has been told an ungodly number of times at
That
this
is
point,
facts.
pretty much across all forms of media. But what makes Sparking Zero's interpretation is
It's funny because no matter how many times they retell the same story, they always somehow manage to do it justice. Whether it's like changing the visuals or the gameplay, like they always somehow manage to do it just like right enough to where it's not horrible. It's not. I can't say the same for like most cases in like some games where they're just bad, but they do a pretty decent job of just reusing the same story.
especially cool is how it gives you multiple opportunities to do things differently than how they're supposed to go. Right from the start of Goku's episode battle, when Raditz takes Gohan away and Goku and Piccolo get chased, you actually don't have to join forces with Piccolo. You're given the option to instead go it alone, and if you do that, then you'll be joined by Krillin and fight Raditz in a battle with a completely different outcome.
Soon have you writhing agony like the...
They're probably going to talk about it in a second, but you can also choose the canon story while also getting a different outcome to the canon story.
worms you are.
That's not all either. Even if you decide to play it by the canon and team up with Piccolo, if you manage to defeat Raditz before Piccolo
Yeah,
is
this is
able
what
to
I was
charge his
talking about.
attack, you'll be met with a special, fully animated and voiced Sparking episode that plays out this what-if scenario of Goku surviving his encounter with Raditz, getting to train Gohan himself, and being there right when the Saiyans arrive on Earth. Producer Jun Furutani told me that when selecting the battles that they wanted to highlight in episode mode, they wanted to focus on the battles that highlighted the playable characters the best in the story, but they also wanted to put a focus on battles that could potentially lead to branching outcomes. I followed up and asked Furutani about how substantial these branches could be, to which he replied, "It's a really hard question to answer because depending on which branch we're talking about, it could skew in a very different direction. But some branches might just go back to the actual canonical route again. For example, when you fight Raditz, there's some smaller branches that have been there, but it takes you back to the canonical route. And obviously after Raditz is Vegeta, and after Vegeta is Frieza. Some of them are just blips. Some of them kind of take you in a very drastically different direction. And while there are 8 characters that make up Sparking Zero's episode battle mode, they do seem to vary wildly in terms of length. I played 30 minutes of Goku.
So it seems like no matter what, the story will always end up in that path, which makes sense. Because in Future Trunks' timeline, that happened anyways, where like, instead of Trunks arriving to defeat Mecha Frieza and King Cole, Goku defeats them anyways. This is he just dies from a heart virus.
Goku's and only got through the Saiyan Saga, 30 minutes of Frieza's and only got to the final battle against Super Saiyan Goku, and then 30 to 45 minutes of Future Trunks' story from Dragon Ball Super, and pretty much finished it all up right there. Still, I'm very much looking forward to diving into all of these at launch and seeing if I can find all of the hidden what-if moments myself. It's worth mentioning too that they're not easy to trigger. The fights themselves are already pretty tough, and to try and accomplish specific added challenges on top of that makes it seem like these are meant to be rewards for the most dedicated of players. Doubly so.
So it's kind of like Kakarot, Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, in a sense where since that game was an RPG, you had to actually like level up and grind a little bit so that you'd actually be able to have a chance to fight the boss and not just die instantly.
Because you can't actually trigger these scenes if you lower the difficulty.
Oh, so they did a Kingdom Hearts where you have to beat it on a certain difficulty to get the secret ending or the secret outcome. I get it.
Beyond the custom and episode battle modes, I also messed around with the tournament mode, which allows you to participate in one of many different types of tournaments, each with different rule sets. The Tournament of Power, for example, has you competing on the Tournament of Power stage with flight turned off and ringouts as an alternate win condition. Cell Games is a strictly 1 vs 1 affair with no rules, but you only regain 20% of your life between fights. And the Yamcha Games is straight up chaos with random rules and random character selection. You can also create your own tournament and customize your very own set of rules as well.
They really went hard on Yamcha's ultimate, because him controlling that key sphere and doing like the cool tricks with it, they went hard on Yamcha. Like, bruh, definitely gonna be a fun guy to play.
Well, and then finally there's the Encyclopedia mode, which I got to exclusively check out for a few minutes.
Oh, hi, girls.
It's a returning feature from Tenkaichi 3, but instead of just having Chi-Chi giving commentary on a character, this time you get Chi-Chi, Bulma, and Videl all gossiping about the cast and giving their own little insights.
I don't know. I kinda dig the silvery look.
The little bits I got to listen to were all very amusing, like the girls commentating on how ugly Goku becomes when he transforms into a Super Saiyan 3 form,
Look how scary he is.
or how Garlic Jr. looks like a roided-out Emperor Pilaf. My relatively short time with Sparking Zero rekindled my love for the Budokai Tenkaichi games and was a much-needed reminder that arena fighters can excite and thrill just as much as traditional 2D and 3D fighters can. The attention to
Honestly, I prefer arena fighters, because with arena fighters I can be more, you know, for lack of better words, anime, where I can just like do crazy shit and there's like tons of visuals and explosions. Like, I love that. That's also me saying I'm just bad at 2D fighters, but I don't try hard enough in those.
detail here is phenomenal. The combat definitely has a learning curve, but is packed full of depth that is very satisfying to learn and engage with. And its story looks to provide a ton of flexibility in how it tells the tale of Dragon Ball.
I'm still far superior to you.
We'll see how its final form turns out when Dragon Ball Sparking Zero releases next month on PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X and S, and PC. For more on Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, don't miss our exclusive Future Trunks episode gameplay, as well as our first preview from earlier in the summer. And for everything else in the world of video games, keep it here on IGN.
See you around. Not good.
Thanks, IGN. Did something useful for once. Nah, that game is gonna go crazy. I'm really excited. I hope all of you guys are really excited for this game to come out, as am I and everyone else. But we can only see when it comes out. Until then, later.